What's up guys, welcome back to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. Today we'll be looking back on the market with the daily market outlook. Today it was a bit delayed, I had to do some other things during the day, so without more being said, let's get right into it. So for Bitcoin at the moment, it was quite clear that this was our key level. We simply broke above it, had a retest of it, giving us a nice trade back towards that previous week open. This previous week open proves to be a big deal, so I really want to see a flip of this where we can get back above this previous macro resistance. So for the lower time frame, the 1 hour, what would I like to see? It more is leaning towards the bearish side, if I have to be honest. Because if we simply look at it like this, we have been rejecting from this point with the previous week open, giving us the opportunity to look perhaps at some lower price action. Maybe we hold this wick, or we do some sweeping like this, we reclaim it and we go back up, or we simply break below this and we see a retest of this level before we continue up. But when you look on the bigger picture, I am still not ruling out that we see that 102k back, at least for Bitcoin, because I still think for Bitcoin we just need some larger chop, because we simply need to flip this previous week open, which we currently are unable to do. So for Bitcoin, it will be quite simple. We either want to see it hold right here to see some price action back towards the upside, or we will be looking at this box. And if we manage to go below this, it's quite simple that you can see a sweep of these levels right here, giving us some reversion, perhaps back towards that weekly previous week open. Because this simply is untapped lows, and we simply see those sweeps happening. If you just look at it only from this perspective, right here, this is simply what we are currently seeing, where we had this, broke above, unable to break back above. This is simply a similar pattern, and here we went back towards those lows before going up again. So this is what I currently expect for Bitcoin. So without more having said, let's get right into ETH. We saw on ETH, we simply had this lower time frame range on, of course, that is 0 to 5 level on the macro. We broke above that 0.5 level. Currently, we just barely didn't reject from the 0.75 level. But I do have to say that this doesn't really look that positive when we look at it on a lower time frame. We simply see this is simply a sign of weakness, where we also have this right here, and we tried to flip this as well, which it seems unable to do. So for this to gain upside as well, we simply need to flip this candle right here, which we simply are not doing. So if we want to see some more upside, I really think we do break this trend line and we simply see a retest of this. Perhaps we see it bounce already here a little bit, which will give price action like this before we retest and go back up. And here, of course, to range a little bit and create some lower time frame liquidity, where everyone will simply long this box, and here they will be stopped out. So unless we hold above this trend line, I do have to lean a little more towards the bearish side right here, since we simply had a quite aggressive bounce, and we've had some news for the more general markets, which this also is a beautiful flip on the lower time frame, retesting it, getting back above, but we currently are rejecting from that previous high, which, as you guys can see, I simply charted 3 different assets right here, but they also showing similar price action with this pattern right here. And of course, today we had, or yesterday, we had that tariff thing between Trump and China being passed until August, but we still are actively having tariffs with Europe and the UK. So I don't think that we should be fully risk on right here. What I do see is ETH BTC showing a little bit of weakness, with BTCD showing some strength as we've drawn right here. We wanted to see it reject around here, which it currently is doing, which if we look on the bigger picture, we identified this as the 2 swing points. We held above that 0.5 level, and we are projecting off that 0.75 level. And then we have this little part on the lower time frame, which we simply seem to have flipped. So I think for this we can simply turn it around, where we take this as a low and this as the high to see where the extensions are, which, if I put the magnet on real quick, it is right around here. So if I quickly remove this, simply see we are holding that 0.75 level, and we've had our extension towards the upside. But I do see some little bleed for alts, to be honest, where we perhaps go to something like this before having that rejection. Because I see the masses are simply a little bit euphoric, so with that we have to be a little cautious. And if we look at the alts I showed previously, we of course had this move towards the upside, but if we simply scroll through all of them, yes, we've gotten the moves, but we simply are showing weakness on ETH BTC and all the other pairs. So I will put this out as quick as possible, because I do think we have to be a little cautious here for Bitcoin and for ETH, where we should be expecting some more downside before more upside, simply said. So, without more having said, guys, have a nice day, keep trading, and let's see you guys in the next video.